What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about Terra Luna Classic, of course. And today, Kwon has broke his silence. Is he on the run? Is he safe? Is he guilty? What's going on with Kwon? We're actually going to take a listen in this video to a little bit of the interview done today. I reported on this a couple days ago that an interview would be done today as it relates to the Kwon situation. So we're going to go inside and just listen to a little bit of this, and then we're not going to watch the whole thing. Of course, you can once I show you a little snippet of this. And then there's an article that kind of highlights some of the things that we won't listen to in the video. But again, you can go back and listen to the whole video if you want. It's about an hour-long conversation that was done with Kwon. And it was done by Laura Shin, who was interviewing Kwon for her podcast. And she began by asking Kwon why he had not returned to South Korea. We can listen in here. And again, as we're listening, I want to know your thoughts about all this because it does impact all Luna Classic holders. This is a top story that we need to stay on top of because, you know, I've been very upfront about this. We need Kwon out of the picture and out of the fold for good. I mean, because obviously there's not a lot of trust there with Kwon and those from Terraform Labs. Now, the community that has taken it over now, the Terra Rebels and such, that's different, right? But we need kind of clarity to move forward. Let's listen in here.
Today's guest is Kwon, co-founder of Terraform Labs. Welcome, Do.
Hi, Laura. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for agreeing to do this. You were one of the creators of Terra, the algorithmic stablecoin that collapsed in May, wiping out $60 billion in value between Terra and its sister coin Luna. A South Korean court has issued a warrant for your arrest and even said that Interpol issued a red notice for you, which is a request for law enforcement worldwide to arrest you. Why have you not returned to Korea?
Well, so just to set the facts straight, we are currently made a request to check on the status of the red notice. But as far as I understand, it is not an international arrest warrant, and it states so explicitly in its website. So, every sovereign nation can interpret a red notice the way that it sees fit. A second point of clarification is, since the end of last year, I haven't been living in South Korea, so it wouldn't be accurate to say returning to South Korea. The more accurate point would be, would I travel to South Korea?
Yes, and I agree with you that I reached out to Interpol twice to request confirmation about the red notice and have not heard anything. So, but did you similarly not hear anything back?
So, as you can imagine, this isn't like an area. So, first of all, I'm not a lawyer or like a law enforcement official. And specifically, even within that, like how red notices work is something that I don't really understand very well. But we haven't heard anything back yet. There is an appeals process to contest even if it has been granted. So we'll do everything that we can to make clarifications and make sure that this comes to a better result.
And so, as we mentioned, this South Korean court did issue this warrant for your arrest, and the charges are based on the Capital Markets Act in Korea. What do you think of those charges?
So the thing about, like the Capital Markets Act is sort of the financial regulatory authority in Korea is something called the FSC, the Financial Services Commission, which is, I think from a US analog, it's an amalgamation of the SEC and the CFTC, but more from like a, devising financial regulation perspective rather than the enforcement part. So there's a separate subsidiary organization that is civilian that handles the enforcement portions, but generally the FSC sets policy. And the consistent stance of, the Korean government has been that, and even from the Financial Services Commission directly, is that cryptocurrencies are not securities. And securities, as the way that they're defined in Korea, is different from the way that it's defined in, the US, for instance. And that it is not within the ambit of their jurisdiction to regulate cryptocurrency for that reason. More specifically, right now, the South Korean National Legislature is in the process of devising a specific regulation for cryptocurrency. So we are a little bit disappointed in the way that prosecutors are attempting to, create new regulation through criminal enforcement proceedings, whereas that really should be within the job description of the legislature, or at the very least, the financial regulators.
Yeah, I would say your comments here are in accord with a crypto lawyer that I had on the show, a South Korean crypto lawyer, Jung-Baek Park, who talked about how the reasoning behind the prosecutor's charges, they're not something that, is explicitly stated by the FSC. And in fact, wasn't even detailed in the charges. But I was curious, so it appears, am I wrong in thinking that the reason you have not answered the arrest warrant, or tell me, have you not answered the arrest warrant because you disagree with these charges or don't find them to be legitimate?
We haven't seen a copy of the arrest warrants, so every piece of data that we're consuming regarding this is from the media, which, as you can imagine, in a situation like this, it's kind of hectic and there's a lot of contradictory information. So,
but I thought that there was a PDF posted for you because they couldn't physically deliver it to you.
Right, yeah, so I haven't seen a copy of this PDF. So besides application of the Capital Markets Act, we haven't been able to see, what specific charges that we might be facing. We don't think that any of the charges pertaining to, the Capital Markets Act is applicable, because the government stance has been that, cryptocurrencies shouldn't be governed by Capital Markets Act, that they're not securities, that new regulation, which several people in government have already indicated should be favorable to encourage the growth of digital assets in the country, we don't believe that those are legitimate charges.
Okay, so that's just a little snippet of the interview. I'm going to link the full interview down below that Laura Shin did with Kwon. So if you want to check out the entire video, that link's down below in the description. But if you want to just go through a couple things here and hang on here in the video, we'll go through some of the things that were assessed here. And I want to highlight a couple different points. Kwon is correct that a red notice is not an international arrest warrant, but it is a worldwide request that local authorities arrest that individual. The exact wording on the website is as follows. A red notice is a request to law enforcement worldwide to locate and provisionally arrest a person pending extradition, surrender, or similar legal action. A red notice is not an international arrest warrant. So we shall see, because tomorrow Kwon's passport is set to expire. While a red notice has not forced Kwon to head to South Korea, the Terra founder's passport becomes invalid as of Wednesday. The fact that may yet force Kwon's hand. That fact may yet force Kwon's hand. Once Kwon's passport ceases to be valid, the presumption is that local authorities must deport him. That said, rarely are matters with Terra Luna ever quite as simple as they seem. Luna Classic currently trading at the 2528 level, down a little bit today. You wonder if it's because of this news. Here's the one-day outlook. We are selling off a little bit, but tomorrow's a big day. We'll talk about any news and information that comes out on this front. And again, this is crucial. If you're a Luna Classic holder, you need to be aware of the happenings and the goings on here as it relates to Kwon. Thank you all so much for popping in. Don't forget to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe down below. I'll be back with another video. We'll see you.